doggy, little mascot. Um, okay, Talia, so good to see you again. Happy Friday.
Happy
And
Friday.
I wanted to ask about, because I've seen it everywhere on LinkedIn, Emma Stratton's book. What did you think about it? I've seen a lot from like different people in CI. There's like a chapter on competitive positioning, is it? I don't know. I haven't read it. Yeah, make it punchy. There she is.
It just
How
happened
is
to be
it?
here. I didn't even know that you're going to ask me about it, but like it's literally here, just like within reach.
That's amazing. Are you finished reading it? Like, are you finished
Yeah.
reading it? Or
It's
cool.
it's such a great book. So there's I think so I like Emma's stuff for like a couple of reasons, and I think like one of them for sure, and I think um as I'm kind of like reading through the book, it almost sounds, like, so it's almost like when people read, I think, obviously awesome by April, like it just
Yeah.
clicked and it made sense. And they were like, okay, like my intuition was kind of like that. Like I always also used to hate positioning statements. And then this expert is saying that they make no sense. So,
Yeah.
yes, like I
I
feel
feel
so
validated.
validated. I feel so
Yeah.
seen. And I think this is the same with Emma's book because she's kind of like outlined her process. And I'm
Amazing.
thinking this is so similar to the process that kind of I landed on when I was even like before I started my business, like before like I started to do it with clients, even when I was in house, I kind of followed a very similar logic. So I think folks, product marketers would also kind of like similarly to April's book, they are gonna feel seen
Yeah.
when they read this book. They're like, I
Important.
know, I knew it. Like they were like, I knew it. And I didn't, like I didn't want to call BS. I wasn't sure, but like,
Yeah.
yes, like she's doing it. Um, and I think another thing about it that's really interesting. I know like there's this whole, I think like in the product marketing community specifically, this whole thing about do you lead with features or do you lead with benefits or do you lead with capabilities or do you lead with outcomes? And I feel like we've kind of seen like the pendulum like swings. Maybe yeah, like like in the last years, it was kind of like very leaning heavily towards lead with outcomes. So, and now like all SaaS companies sound the same because they all tell you they're gonna help you increase revenue and you have no idea what they even do. So like we kind of
Yeah.
abuse that. But then there's this like whole, also like leading with feature approach that doesn't, I think it doesn't always make sense. I appreciate when people are calling out what, like other things that don't make sense either, but
Yeah.
I also think that like leading with features necessarily isn't like the most like the smartest approach, or I think maybe it's
I
suitable for
remember.
some companies or for some products, not for others. It's
Yeah.
so it so depends on what you're selling. Um and I think Emma is not saying lead with features, right? Like she never said that, by the way. Like it's not new. She never said that. It's just now that it's in a book,
Yeah.
um, which
That's so cool though.
and I think that this is a voice that we also need to hear because yes, we don't want to abuse the we're gonna help you increase revenue and like triple ROI when no one can put their finger on what that is, but also leading all the time with features doesn't always make sense. So I love that she's another voice that gives you another option and another way of looking at things. And then I
Yeah.
think each of us, even when I'm using my own templates, I always change them. So like there isn't one silver bullet that
Interesting.
we can pick and take and it applies to everything. And we just need to get used to that and accept it
Mm.
and be okay with it and move on and just, understand that, for some cases this is a great approach, for some it makes little like no sense and like
Yeah.
maybe we want to think about things differently. And I think lastly, the fact that she even talks about competitive in her messaging, to me that's like music to my ears because
Yeah. How would that feel?
that's I mean that's what I feel like that's what I've been like trying to like that's like been like my drum for the last I don't know how many
No.
months. I'm like, you
Yeah.
can't just use competitive just for palette cards. I'm sorry, but like no, you have like
See.
there is so much more um than like in competitive information that you can use, that you should use, not like just can, that you absolutely should be using in your strategy. And that's your positioning. And the messaging is just kind of like how you're implementing that strategy, right?
Yeah.
Like it comes after the positioning, and competitive is absolutely a part of that. So I love that she's using that. I'm like, yes, finally, thank you. This is like, I just, I don't know. I just read the book and I just felt so validated, you know?